In the heart of the African wilderness, where the sun bleeds gold upon emerald leaves, and every breath carries the scent of life and danger, a stranger arrived. His name was Ethan Cole, an explorer, a man of maps and missions who believed the world could be measured by compasses and charts. But that was before he stepped into Nabira Forest, a place the locals called the Jungle of Spirits. Soft wind, faint tribal chanting in the distance. They warned him, no man enters Nabira and leaves unchanged. The forest does not welcome outsiders. It chooses them. But Ethan was driven, not by curiosity alone, but by a promise. Somewhere, deep within that jungle lay the ruins of an ancient tribe, a civilization lost to time, and he wanted to find it, or be found by it. Rustling leaves, heavy footsteps through wet soil. For days, he wandered beneath towering trees older than memory, following a river that shimmered like liquid bronze. The air was thick, the silence alive. And then he heard it. Sound cue, faint singing, a woman's voice, distant, haunting. It wasn't a song of words, but of soul, rising and falling like the wind through hollow reeds. He followed it, step by cautious step, until the trees opened into a clearing. And there, standing by the water's edge, was Zuri. Pause, sound of flowing river and soft wind. She was unlike anyone Ethan had ever seen. Her skin glowed under the sunlight, her hair coiled like woven night, and her eyes were the color of the jungle after rain. She wore beads carved from bone and ivory, symbols of her tribe. But it was not her beauty that held him. It was her stillness. She looked as though the entire world had stopped for her to exist. Ethan froze, half hidden behind a tree. He didn't know who she was. Not yet. But in that instant, he felt something ancient stir within him. Heartbeats faintly echo under narration. Zuri turned suddenly, her gaze sharp, knowing. She spoke a word in her language, short, commanding. From the shadows, two tribal hunters emerged, spears glinting under the sun. Ethan raised his hands, showing peace. "I mean no harm," he said, voice trembling slightly. "I'm just passing through." The hunters said nothing, but Zuri stepped closer, studying him, not with fear, but with curiosity. Pause, low drumbeat resumes. Then she spoke, her voice calm yet firm. "No one passes through Nabira. If the forest allows you to come, it is because it has chosen you." Ethan didn't understand. Not yet. But he felt the weight of her words. The hunters took him to their village, a hidden world of firelight, carved masks, and music that sounded older than time itself. Sound, distant drums, soft tribal singing. That night, under the moonlight, he saw Zuri again. She was seated beside her father, Chief Okoro, the leader of the Nabira tribe. The chief's eyes were wise, his voice deep as thunder. "You are far from your world, stranger. Tell me, what do you seek in ours?" Ethan replied, "I came searching for the lost city of Ikara, said to be built by your ancestors. I seek only knowledge." The chief nodded slowly. "Knowledge is a dangerous hunger. It can feed you, or consume you." Zuri watched him silently. There was a question in her gaze, one Ethan could not read. Sound fades into soft jungle night. Later, as the fire crackled and the tribe sang to the stars, Ethan wandered near the river again. Zuri appeared beside him, silent as the moonlight. "You should not have come here," she said softly. "This place changes those who stay too long." "Then maybe I was meant to change," Ethan replied. Pause, soft wind and distant owl call. For the first time, Zuri smiled, a small, mysterious curve of her lips. The kind of smile that hides 1,000 untold stories. And as the night deepened, a sense of destiny bound them both. A connection the jungle itself seemed to whisper about. But neither knew that what tied them together was older, darker, and more dangerous than love. Music rises, slow drumbeat and wind fade to black. Days turned into weeks in the heart of Nabira. Ethan, the outsider, became a shadow among the tribe, a ghost tolerated by tradition, but never fully welcomed. Only one person broke that silence: Zuri. Soft flute music begins, distant and haunting. Each day, she would appear, at the river, the fire gatherings, or beneath the canopy of giant trees. She spoke little, but her presence spoke everything. Ethan began to learn their language, slow, broken words that made her laugh quietly. And when she laughed, it was as if the jungle itself joined in. Leaves rustling, streams glimmering, birds singing at once. Pause. Sound of a gentle breeze. But the tribe watched them, eyes filled with both warning and wonder. To them, Zuri was not just a woman. She was the chosen daughter, keeper of their sacred lineage, the spirit link between their ancestors and the earth. No outsider was ever meant to stand beside her. Music deepens, drums echo faintly in the distance. One evening, while the air was thick with rain and thunder whispered across the horizon, Ethan sat outside, his hut, sketching ancient carvings he had seen in the ruins near the village. Zuri approached, carrying a torch. The glow painted her face in shades of gold and flame. "You draw what you see," she said softly, "but you do not yet see what you draw." Ethan looked up, puzzled. "What do you mean?" "These carvings," she said, tracing her finger along the drawing, "tell the story of two souls, one born of the tribe, one born of the stars. They were never meant to meet, but when they did, the jungle trembled." Her voice was distant, almost like she was remembering rather than speaking. "They say when those souls meet again," she whispered, "the forest will test them. It will give them a choice: love or survival." Thunder rolls softly in the background. Ethan's eyes met hers. "And what happens if they choose love?" Zuri looked toward the dark jungle. Then both the living and the spirits weep. Silence. Then faint rainfall. The next day, Ethan followed Zuri into the deeper forest, where the trees grew taller than temples and the air shimmered with mist. She showed him sacred stones carved with faces of their ancestors. Some were cracked, some overgrown, but all seemed to watch. "This is where our hearts return when we die," Zuri said. "No one enters here without the blessing of the chief." Ethan hesitated. "Then why bring me?" "Because," she said softly, "I think you were already blessed before you came." Wind rises, the sound of leaves and whispers echo faintly. That night, strange things began to happen. The jungle grew louder, the cries of distant animals, drums in the darkness that no one claimed. The elders whispered that the forest spirits were restless. Chief Okoro called for Zuri. "My daughter," he said, "the wind changes when he walks near you. The spirits speak. You know what this means." He is not like others, Zuri replied. He listens. He feels. That is how the curse begins, the chief said grimly. It begins with feeling. Low drumbeat intensifies, echo of tension. Later, Ethan found Zuri near the river again, her reflection rippling in the moonlight. He could see the conflict in her, the pull between duty and desire, tradition and truth. Your father doesn't trust me, Ethan said. He trusts the jungle, she replied. And the jungle fears you. But you don't? She looked at him for a long moment. I fear what I feel when I look at you. Music swells, deep, emotional strings. They stood in silence, the air charged with unspoken words. Ethan reached out, not to touch her, but to hold the moment still. And for a heartbeat, it felt as if the entire world paused. The river stopped, the wind held its breath, the jungle listened. Pause, then sound of sudden wind. A shadow moved in the iti-iti. Trees, quick, silent. Zuri turned sharply. We're being watched, she whispered. Go. Now. Ethan stepped back, confused, but her eyes were fierce. Go. He disappeared into the shadows, heart pounding, sound of running footsteps, rustling leaves. From the darkness, a figure emerged, one of the tribal warriors, his face painted in ash and red earth. He knelt before Zuri. The spirits are angry, he said. You have broken the sacred line. Zuri's eyes glistened with fear, not for herself, but for him. No, she whispered, not yet. Low thunder, fading rain. That night, the drums of Nabira beat through the darkness. The elders gathered around the sacred fire, and Ethan, alone in his hut, heard a voice. Soft, distant, familiar. Zuri's voice. If the jungle has chosen us, then it will test us. Do not fear what comes next. Music fades to silence, leaving only the sound of wind and whispering leaves. The jungle no longer slept. Its silence was gone, replaced by the rustle of unseen wings, the hum of spirits moving through the night. In the heart of Nabira, the Ayers' fire burned high, and every face was turned toward the dark horizon, waiting. Zuri stood before the elders, her head bowed. Her father, Chief Okoro, raised the carved staff of their ancestors. The spirits are unsettled, he said. They say the stranger carries the mark of the lost one, the star-born soul. You know what must be done. Soft wind blows, the sound of crackling fire. Zuri's voice trembled. He did not come here to harm us. No, her father replied, but fate does not care for intention. The prophecy has begun. You have seen the signs, the river. Running backwards, the birds that flew at dusk, the blood moon rising before its time, thunder in the distance. Zuri turned away, her heart heavy. Somewhere beyond the flames, Ethan watched from the shadows, hearing enough to understand that his presence had brought danger. That night, he decided to leave. He gathered his maps, his compass, his worn journal, everything that once defined him. But as he stepped into the forest path, Zuri appeared, soft flute, rain starting to fall. You can't go now, she said. The forest has already chosen you. Your people think I'm a curse, Ethan replied. I won't let them destroy everything because of me. Zuri stepped closer. You still don't understand. You didn't find this place. It found you. The prophecy. It's about us. Wind howls faintly. lightning flashes in the sky. She led him deep into the jungle, to a hidden grove surrounded by stones carved with ancient symbols, the same ones from his sketches. In the center stood a broken statue, two figures, one of the tribe, one holding a star in their hand. Zuri placed her palm on the stone. Long ago, the daughter of the first chief fell in love with a man from beyond the seas. The spirits forbade it. When they tried to escape, the jungle swallowed them both, their bodies lost, their souls bound. The elders said they would return one day. When the stars align again, Ethan's voice was barely a whisper. "And you think that's us?" Zuri looked at him, her eyes full of tears and something deeper. "I don't think. I feel." Lightning strikes. Thunder roars. The storm broke open above them. Rain poured through the canopy as if the heavens themselves wept. Zuri took Ethan's hands and pressed them to the ancient carvings. The symbols began to glow faintly. Soft, golden light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Mystical hum builds in the background. Then, visions flooded Ethan's mind. He saw flashes of another life. Himself dressed in tribal garb, standing beside a woman who looked like Zuri. He saw the same grove, the same storm, the same choice. When the vision faded, he gasped. "I've been here before." Zuri nodded slowly. Two souls. One promise, unfinished. Pause. Rain slows. Just the sound of dripping leaves. Suddenly, a cry echoed through the jungle. The hunters were coming. Torches burned through the rain, voices shouting his name. Chief Okoro appeared from the shadows. "The spirits demand." "Balance," he said. "If you stay, the curse will fall upon us all." Ethan stepped forward. "Then let it fall on me." "No!" Zuri cried. "There must be another way." The chief looked between them, his daughter, the stranger, and the glowing carvings beneath their hands, and for a moment his eyes softened. The prophecy says, "Love can destroy or redeem. Let us see which this is." Drums slow. The storm fades into silence. Zuri whispered, "Whatever happens, don't let go." They stood together as the first light of dawn touched the grove. The carvings shone brighter. Then a blinding flash enveloped them both. When the light faded, the grove was empty. Only the statue remained. But now, the two figures carved in stone were whole again, their hands joined. Soft music swells, emotional, hopeful. Days later, the jungle was calm once more. Chief Okoro stood before the statue, his face wet with rain, or tears. He whispered, "The forest has taken them, but it has given us peace." Fade to birds singing, gentle river sound. Weeks passed. The tribe spoke of strange things. A white flower blooming where none had grown before, and a pair of footprints that never washed away beside the river. Some say the spirits claimed them. Others say they became part of the jungle itself, guardians of the land they once defied. But sometimes, on nights when the moon burns red and the wind hums through the trees, villagers swear they can hear two voices, one singing, one laughing, deep within the forest. The legend of Zuri and Ethan lives on, not as a tale of forbidden love, but as a reminder that some connections are older than life and stronger than death. Music fades slowly. Jungle ambience returns. Screen fades to black.